or suspense thriller. You know, does this story structurally offer some twists and surprises? Audiences love that. It makes us, you know, vulnerable to the possibilities that the story may not end.
When you need to, reload your brush.
You know, my feeling is that with most sophisticated audiences,
try not to go too much and
seen a lot of
keep it away from the edge. Keep that edge nice and clean.
Probably, if you stopped a story about halfway through and said, how do you think this is going to end? Whether it's a true story and you know the ending or not. And I'll bet the majority of people could guess it. So, as a storyteller, you have to find ways to put them off balance so they're not so certain that you're going to resolve in the way that they expected it to. Of course, it's fantastic.
Okay, you have a nice little highlight here
a story
where it kind of shines through. Try to put that
you know, in the way that audiences would anticipate. That's great, but you can't always have that because that has to be organic and a sort of a natural answer to the big narrative questions of the story.
Leave that other little side highlight.
About structure. Is there a thematic narrative question that's being asked, and is it answered?
Now,
Because
load your brush and go on to the
you
next
know, it's not
next
very
eye down.
fulfilling storytelling. Also, when looking at
So I'd start with this side
and
because you're
ratings,
right-handed.
I like to think about
in here.
sequences.
Yep.
I really believe less in a 3-act structure and much more in sequences of sort of, you know, kind of 8 to 12 pages, roughly about 10 minutes, and that work almost like chapters in a story. And good story.
No, don't mush your brush. Remember, keep it. Reload your brush if you need to. Don't bend it like that. There you go. Keep it smooth.
Oh, good.
Looking really good. Okay. And we can go on to doing the rest of the eyes.
Rust.
The rest of the eye. Do the iris, and then we'll do the whites of the eye too. Alright, now we're going to clean off your brush. You got that done. What you're going to end up doing, here, hold the phone for a sec, and I'll show you. And you do it. Just pinch and wipe it clean like that. Pinch and wipe it clean. So you end up getting that cleaned off like that. But then, you're going to take some odorless mineral spirits. Stop, pushing this out of the way. Odorless mineral spirits. You want a parent's help to get used to this. I just get a little splash on top.
There. We got a little splash.
Then you can get your brush a little wet with it. See there? Clean it up. Then we'll take and we'll clean it off more. And we'll do that a couple times. But this one, you want to have parental supervision. And keep doing that until you get basically no pigment left on the brush. And that brush is pretty clean. Well, make sure you have parental supervision until you get that hang of it. So if you get to a point where you got a little bit too much paint on an area and you want to pull back, you can also use the Gamsol for this, your mineral spirits for this. Hold on to this for me, Tav. So Tav had an interesting element on this part of the drawing. It was the eye on the inside was actually, on this one eye, was brown for the pupil, and then the outside was black. But we got a little too filled in on it, right in here. So what we're going to do is we're going to take that mineral spirits, get a little bit on a Q-tip, then we can take it and
Also, if you're questioning, it doesn't smell like anything.
Yeah, this stuff is way better than regular mineral spirits. It's completely odorless. So, and that's able to pull that away. If you just rub this away, it really doesn't. It won't lift off that nicely. So that's how you can pull some paint off if you need to. Again, I highly recommend Gamsol.
If you're an aspiring painter.
Yeah, for working with oils. What colors do we need next, Tav,
So
to get the
we
eyes?
need blue, orange, brown, and green.
Okay. I think if we used, I think I know the colors. I think an earth orange. Orange isn't like it's a super bright orange. It's kind of a brownish color. Then we can mix a little black into it for this one down here. Then we have that little greenish teal one, and find a nice bluish color to work into there. And then we'll also get a little white laid out so that we can round out and shape these eyeballs. So I think we can give them even better dimension on here, which you kind of got with when you inked them in. Try to keep it real smooth.
Now you see this color doesn't really match up with that one.
I'll show you what you can do with this after you get it. And get that Q-tip working again. So just get to the top of it too, Tav. Do the top part of the eye. Remember, don't mush your brush. Make it smooth. Okay. I think that might be pretty good. This is transparent red ochre. But if you take, Tav, now and take your Q-tip that you had loaded with that, and you can pull it back. You can actually make it highlight. You can try. I'm gonna get a clean one though. I need a clean Q-tip. Then we'll go back and do this. Let's see. So in here we're blending it. Blending those edges in, kind of soften that. When you want to pull paint back, you can do this. So then you can kind of get this glowy look. A little bit closer to that color, but we can come in with some yellow. Pulling those highlights into there too.
This one.
Remember, don't mush your brush. Let it be loaded. Let the stroke be smooth. Now as you get into the black, it's going to start pulling in. So make sure to keep, if you're blending those two areas, keep them next to each other. There you go. Looking quite good. Okay. Try to load that in there. Try to show the highlight. There we go. Nice. Nicely done. Alright, I think we got those yellow and brown eye doing pretty good. Now let's get on to the blue and light blue. Now keep a little edge in between the black for right now to keep your brush clean. Don't go right into the black yet. And get the other side of that, the top part of the eye too, before you go in and start blending into the black area. And that way your brush will stay clean. Okay, just leave that for now. Stop there. Go back and reload your brush with the manganese hue blue.
So Dad just talking to me about cadmium colors.
Cadmium colors are there's certain pigments that are a little more dangerous, that you don't want to ingest or inhale, and that's one of them. So you want to make sure if you use one of those colors, you're very mindful that you're not getting it on your skin, or especially in your mouth, like if you get it on your hand and then you touch your mouth, and you don't want to sand those colors.
You just want to wash it off.
And you make sure if you get something on you, clean it off. But also, if you're going to use those colors, I would recommend using some gloves. And for sure, if you're younger, an adult supervision. Okay, don't mush it. Remember, Tav, don't mush the brush. Unload the brush. There you go. Just grab some more paint. Now look at your drawing you did before, and see how it's kind of darker around the ridge of the iris. I thought that was a good element because that's kind of what our eyes do.
Darker around the ridge, like here.
So load a little more paint on, because this paint's a little translucent, meaning you can kind of see through it. You want to make sure that you load that area up a little bit more, and it'll appear darker. And this is the drawing Gustav did. It was a abstracted Picasso-esque self-portrait. This is the painting he's doing with it. Okay, you have that area really nice now. Now you left a little ridge because as you start blending, your brush is going to get loaded. You want to blend into here, back and forth into each other a little bit, and smooth out that spot. All right. So as you're finishing up smoothing out this area, irises have a bunch of muscles that go along the eye, and sometimes it's nice to articulate them. So if you put like some marks going down here, it actually simulates the muscles in the iris going down. Actually, it's kind of a nice way to represent them. And here it kind of pulls this translucent color over nice, really giving a cool effect. So you do the rest of it, Tav. Pull that down, but don't go into the black.
Something akin to this.
There you go, like that. There you go. That's looking pretty sharp. All right, so hold that pinky down, and then we're gonna go. There you go. Okay, stop mushing it. Stop mushing it. There we go. Okay. Now, what I was saying about the impasto then, clean off your brush again. Now the impasto part is a little bit more like you're kind of spreading it on there. So you're gooping it like this, like a big old goop. And you're just gonna mush it in one stroke down. And normally I don't like to blend it back in. You could kind of finesse it to give it a nice look. There you go. Now there's a big old goopy highlight. And do the same thing for this guy right here. There you got a nice shiny highlight on that eyeball. Nicely done. Okay, so for this guy, to match this green, it was kind of a fun color. We had some, I have some
Seafoam color?
Yeah, like a seafoamy green. Used a radiant cyan, I think it's called. What was it? Radiant turquoise. And then a little Vermilion or Verdinan green, and then blended those two together. You got a nice effect going on here. But what you have, Tav, in this one, which is interesting, I kind of like what's going on. It's just kind of mystically shaped. You have a little of that green going behind there as well. So what I would say is load your brush back with that mix of the radiant turquoise and the Ferdinand green, And we go back into here, make sure to get this part as well.
Yeah, I like that.
And then this, you have some really cool abstractions going on. It's almost like a cat eye sort of situation or something, but I really like this drawing we're basing this off of. So, and then you're just going to blend that, and as you blend it, don't go back into your bright areas, because I'm blending into that black now, and it's going to muddy all the other colors up. And if you want it to get blended, then you can just blend it like that. And you're not pushing the brush down hard, kind of making it move back and forth. Looks like a cool marble or something. Looks really cool.
Clean.
All right, yeah. Now we can get the whites of the eyes. Let's do the whites of the eyes, which have a lot of color, surprisingly. So if you look at your eye, yeah, move it around like that. You can see it's not a lot of white. The highlight, yeah, especially look this way. Look over this way. You can see how dark that is, and only the highlights are really white. So the whites of your eye aren't really white other than the big highlight parts, like in there. So you can see the contrast between the two. So we're going to have to make sure this is out of a gray or a bluish kind of gel look, and we'll make the rest of these eyes really have form. All right, when working the whites of the eyes, I got a couple tips to go off of. Let's start with your brush about as clean as you can get it, and load from the highlight area first. Let's start getting the white in on here. Start by loading this in, and then as we go back, we're gonna get darker and darker.
So the light source. So I want the light source is going to be here.
Yep, that falls in with the highlights. So you end up having back here will be your most shadowy area, and a little blue left over from that. Otherwise, you can use a little blue. Sometimes eyes seem to have the whites of the eye kind of have a bluish tinge with the fluid going through them. So like that, and this is where you can kind of almost dry brush it a little in. Get that, and then we'll build back up and we'll pull more white area with the highlight.
When I hear the word dry brushing, I really want to paint like a Transformers figure, not a masterpiece.
Yeah, you can do that with figures. You can dry brush them, but it's also a technique you use for painting on paintings. So, and then you can start to get this glow.
Which I think it'll probably originated from.
Yeah, I'm guessing so. But then you can take...
Because most paintings existed before toys.
Yeah. A little black here. And then you work it into there to get it gray. And then work a little of that gray into here. And don't add too much black too quick, because it'll really dominate that white layer. Okay. So you got a little shape with this. Alright? Now you go, Tav.
Yeah, okay.
So your brush is a little loaded up with the dark color, so start on the inside and start to the shadow and work your way up. There you go.
Good thing about shadows that you don't really need to think when you're doing them. You just flourish. And you're doing them.
Don't need to think, just flourish. Okay, be careful where you're rubbing in. You see that little shot you got? We can correct that. We can fix it. But that's where you want to be mindful. So what we'll do to fix that, we'll clean off your brush. Nice and cleaned off. Go back in, load a little more on. And then we'll kind of scoop it up. There we go. Clean that right up. There you go. Keep going.
You don't really need to think too much. That's what I like about it.
You get in the zone then. Get in the flow. That's why a lot of people like painting. Okay, now keep those strokes controlled though. Make sure to control your brush strokes. There you go. All right, load a little more white onto your brush. There you go. Now smooth that out over the rest of it. So that whole area gets nice little coat of white. So you're gonna be blending into that white.
Looks good.
There you go. Now we'll go on to the next. All right, one thing before we move on from this eye, Todd wants to add more details onto here, like some tear ducts onto the other eyes and stuff like that. So we'll have some good techniques for that. But when we add the highlight then, this is one where you want to keep your white as brilliant and bright as possible. So this is where I like to use some impasto too. So you get a good gob of paint loaded onto your brush.
So what are we doing?
And then you lay it down like really nice and thick like that into there. So you goop that on and you're gonna try to move that. And then you're gonna have to clean off your brush again because you already got some other paint on there. But you see that nice big splotch? It's using almost like sculpture. They call it impasto. But it leaves a nice thick highlight, and we can put another one right here, a nice big goop right there, so it really pops off the surface of the canvas, and it'll look really bright then too.
So I'm gonna show you.
So let's have you try that, Tav, okay? I'm gonna clean off the brush and then I'll give you a go. All right, Tav.
Okay.
You load the brush. Now, when I say load it, I'm gonna say it like, yep, get a good goop like that. Hold on, before you jump on it, get your hands nice and steady. And you're going to place this right on the edge there and then drag it in. Don't go back into it more. Okay. It's okay.
Messed it up.
No, it's okay. Well, so this will happen. It's okay. So this is where you learn. And what we're going to do is we'll just clean that area. Get your brush.
I'm not good at painting.
So first thing we're going to have to do to fix this, we just take and clean off your brush really good. So make sure your brush is nice and clean. Then we're going to go back into the spot here. And let's clean that area up. Oops. Clean this area up real quick. And just kind of blend that back together. And clean off your brush again. And we're going to go into the black. And clean that black up. Alright. And then we're going to just scoop that up.
Let's do this again.
Scoop this up. Okay. And we'll come back in. Now, what I was explaining to Tav is I like to, when I'm doing this and I gotta study myself, I'll put my pinky and rest that on the surface and then goop it on so you get a more controlled brush mark. Okay, and load it. It's on the back side of your brush. Okay. That's it. Good distance, you know. The further away you hold the brush, the less movement you need. You usually want to have movements come more fluidly with your whole arm.
And if you're questioning why I'm wearing these gloves,
yeah, because we're working with that cadmium yellow that we were talking about.
this paint is very dangerous.
It's just you want to be careful with it. Make sure don't ingest it.
That's all you really need to know. Just don't ingest it.
You don't want to sand this paint, and you don't want to ingest it. So you lay down a good amount if you're laying down this thick area. So what we're gonna do is kind of lay this whole coat down. Then we're gonna do some stuff afterwards. So you can smooth out your strokes by doing more strokes on top of them. And then in the tight areas, you can wiggle it in next to it without trying to touch that other area until you're ready to blend it. Then once you're ready to blend it...
So when did I actually made this part one? No, the original thing right there.
Then you can blend...
When did I make that one?
The drawing that you did?
Mm-hmm.
When was that?
I think it was 2017.
Yeah, I think so.
So this was a year ago.
Let's see how much that blends in.
I didn't do the commission that Dad did me like for a year.
It's impressive.
That's it. Try to feel like the strokes. Try to feel like the strokes are smooth, like they're real fluid. Like you're in control of them. Just feel how they feel. Sit down. You can smooth out those areas if you want. Flat part of the brush. You're using a real wide wedge brush because we want to get more surface area. The other one we're using a finer brush. So we're talking about a fine area. It's looking really good.
I think the hair is done.
Now we gotta do a little more shading on it, I think. You got some nice dimension. We gotta go back in here. And
Yeah,
get
I
some
think
shadows.
the base is done.
Yep, the base is done. We got that laid out. Oh, we should do the halo then too. Okay. Okay, now you can take the brush wide like this, top. Wide, like this. And just smooth out these areas. And back and forth, okay? There you go. And don't dip into your other part of your painting. Just smooth out the areas. And you go get it and get all the way to the edge.
There you go. Now it's done.
I got that base yellows there. There you go. Now I can add some shadowing or some shading. The yellow. Oh, it's looking sharp. It's looking really cool. Alright, so when you look at a disc, they get these like sheens of light.
That's kind of what I want to do.
Yeah, that's what I figured. So to mimic that,
Like a laser disc.
yeah, like a laser disc, what you're gonna do is cut across like that and like that. And you might want to pull in some other colors as you do it too. So this is getting you a real gold-esque disc kind of look.
We are going to make the flesh.
So this part, I'm going to paint the fleshy pieces on here. So to mix flesh, I really like to use a Perillian red and oh, what's my yellow I like?
Oh, what's my yellow I like?
Naples yellow. Light. For a light peachy flesh tone. That's my go-to colors. So we're gonna mix a little of that, and we'll be right back.
If you mix the two colors up, you'll get this.
Yeah, so we got that Peruvian red, which is kind of a translucent red, and then we got this Naples yellow, and I really like the look of that flesh. You can see in my other paintings that I've done of me and Gustav together. I really like using those layers here. You can see one down here at Tavi when he was little. And that has more of the Peruvian color underneath, and then build up the white layers on top of it. So we got this brush. We mix those two together. It's pretty loaded. It's a flatter surface. So go ahead and you can start painting in now. Those areas don't, just try to get it to the center and don't touch the other sets of paint yet.
So we're just going to do like what we did with the hair.
Yep, and you already touched it.
Shoot.
That's all right.
But that's okay.
It's okay. But what we're going to do is try to make sure that we stay away from that, because then if you get your brush dirty, just clean it off. Just make sure it's nice and clean, and then go ahead and keep painting. But just stay away from the other colors until you're ready to blend those.
Okay, so all we do was here, so I just...
Yeah. Try to get that stroke, a longer stroke. There you go. Once you get in the stage, now don't go into the rest of the colors though. You're going
Like
into
that.
the other colors.
I'm sorry.
Hold on.
So you say,
it's
how
okay.
do you say it? Don't go into the other colors, and I won't.
Okay.
I'll go into the other colors, and I
brush
won't.
it. You just brush it off. Okay, so I tell you the opposite. Okay, so go ahead and get into the other colors, and let's see what happens. There you go, nice smooth stroke. Just pull up before you hit the other spots.
Hey, you're right. It is work.
There you go.
Hey, you're right. It is work.
Okay, don't go into those other, or do go into those other colors. Flip the brush around. You're going into the eye. You're going into the eye there too.
Oh shit. Maybe we should. In post, we'll fix that. We'll fix that later.
In post, we'll fix it.
We'll fix that in post too.
Now, when you go around the edge, now slow down when you're going around those detail parts.
Like
So
that?
you can go get bigger brush work and then slow down when you're going around this stuff here. Turn your brush so you can have that sharp edge. And then, those small movements. And go around. There you go. Nice and controlled. Okay, you might want to pull a little more paint onto your brush. Grab a little more paint. Now don't go right next to the other color. Or as I should say, go right into that other color.
Yeah, it does work.
So you want it to be a little bit, as you can see, that red kind of sits in. The red kind of sits in on the color and is real dominant, and it'll make it extra rosy. And that's good. And then what you can do is you build up your highlights on top of that, so your flesh feels a little more layered. So you look up at your source material, what we got going on here. We got some shadows and we got some highlights. So go ahead and let's finish painting over your ink line too. Not into the lips yet. Don't go into there yet. Don't go into there yet. Or I guess do whatever you think. And let's say do the outlines too. Get to the edge of that. Because that ink line, you got to fill it in.
I'm going
But
to.
here you go. Take the edge of your brush. Make sure the edge is running along it. There you go.
Like that?
Mm-hmm. And then take the edge. So the edge is filling that out.
Fills that out.
There you go. And then up there. There you go, and you're letting that. So you're just defining this edge here. You get your color over the whole thing. But it helps to let that ink hold that edge line. So then you can go into the shadow area and define it with this sharp edge here. You kind of got that hair kind of defining that spot with it.
Now, let's fill in, the cartoon eyes that I messed up.
Yeah, we can do that after.
Also, as you
So now
see
we're gonna.
now,
Yeah.
we have an eyebrow, and we fully painted the first layer for it.
I guess Top's gonna add the shadow in around the edge here, and kind of give some dimensionality to that. It's not quite as smooth as the eyes. It's a little flatter, but still has some shading underneath there. And yeah, Top, I would look up and follow.
So I'm thinking
Follow
by
your-
doing the hardest part first, aka the eyes, would be easier. Because this is the thing. You shouldn't do the hardest thing last. Do the hardest
some
thing
people- yeah.
first.
Now, some people like to save them. I always love doing the eyes first because it makes it look much more realistic and pop then, and I just feel like the whole painting's more fun. So, but look up at your drawing though, Tav. So you're getting that edge really nice, which looks good. But then see where all your shadows are on your drawing, and you want to rely on that first drawing you had. So you got, yeah, exactly. There you go.
But and make them realistic.
Yeah. So
Make
that looks
the
good.
shadows realistic.
He's got a shadow that goes around that eye up from the forehead. Gives the dimension of that, the shape of the whole head. And to get this darker color, we went with a little bit more of that pearlian red. You can load your brush back up with that dark area.
Like this?
Yeah, right there. Yep. And it's got a little of that red ochre, and then a little more pearlian red. That's how we just darken that area up.
That's how I darken that area.
Yep. And then you got like a funky little shadow in there, which looks good. Why don't you load up your brush again? Because you got a fair amount of paint, so you might have to get a little more paint for it to transition. You're going right into that eye again, so you want to be careful. It's okay. Just
We'll probably
reload your brush a little so that you can kind of blend, so you
So-
don't have too much black showing. Now get that shape right, and don't go into that eye yet. Get that
you
shape.
go
So you kind of have like
the eye.
have a diamond shape, or
Like that.
like kind of, like almost like a triangle that bends. I don't know. That was your drawing. I'm not sure what it means, but.
Let's try to make it a little bit anime-like.
So if you take your brush then, for one of these instances when you're trying to fill that in, and you go and you load it like that, you put it like the front of it, and then you can start getting that detail in there, and it seems to go all the way to the hair. You go now, pull it all the way to the edge. Looks like it comes all the way to that swoop of hair.
Sorry.
It's okay. We'll put a little more black on there. There you go. It looks like there's just a little shadow underneath their bangs. Here, Tav, look up at this. The shadow underneath your bangs. I don't know if you want to put that on there. Get a little shadow underneath. There you go. There you go. That's good. And then a little bit underneath this top part, just a little swoop of it. There you go.
We're gonna fill in the.
That was looking pretty good. Okay, now what I would say we should do, start putting some of the shadows in around your hands. Let's keep going. Let's get those hands filled in. Get that dark area of the hands around there at least. Keep going.
So we're basically doing this drawing better and painted.
Yep. Did that Photoshop drawing. Did a pencil drawing, then we scanned it in and then he did Photoshop paint on top of it. And now he's doing actual painting of the drawing and painting Photoshop.
Not painting just in Photoshop now. He's really painting. This is actually, I think, my fourth painting.
Fourth oil painting? Because you definitely did more paintings than that.
Fourth oil painting. I'll show you other painting.
Got another acrylic one up there that you worked on. And you have a couple of them over there. Both have videos, YouTube videos on those guys. It's a really good self-portrait. And this is more abstracted self-portrait.
So we got the model back there and the pants.
Simply doing a very dark shade of blue.
There you go. It's got a good jean look. Dark blue jeans. Blue gray jeans. I'll say make his collar, his wrist kind of match that shadow top. So it has a little shape to it. Like in here, and make that kind of match.
Like that?
Sure. You may even want to go into it a little more there. Just like your drawing does.
Oh, that's good.
There you go. Kind of defines that edge of that belt. There you go. There you go. Now maybe inside that belt loop. Like in here. Inside the loop part here, Tav.
Inside it?
Mm-hmm.
Never was the rope.
And just inside there.
Like there?
Yeah.
So we just painted the body. And after this time, we're gonna paint the background with cadmium red, but you know what cadmium is at this point. Really bad, so I'm wearing gloves. I'm going to.
We'll be under supervision when we do that. But it's a brilliant red.
Cadmium red is really good. If you do have any suggestions for something that looks almost exactly like cadmium red, but is far less dangerous, you can.
Well, the danger just comes from mishandling it and getting it in your system. So
I don't
just
get
like
pain in my.
just like working with a knife, you just got to be careful. So as you go back up and down, Tav, try to get lighter on the way up and lighter on the way down. And you press down on the way. Like I said, don't flick it. Don't flick. It wants to flick near the edge. That's it. Don't mush the brush into it. You see what happens when you do it? See how that pushes a weird splotch? Nice and even and smooth. Now we can load the brush again, but we're gonna thin it again a little bit here. Here, hand me the brush. So we take a little of that thinner, load the brush up with just a little bit of that thinner. Then we can go back in and blend it into it. Go ahead and unload the brush. Unload the brush onto the open areas. And now smooth it out.
So we're really almost done with the entire thing, seriously.
You want to have a nice, even stroke. You're going to guide this brush along the shape. Okay, let's clean this brush out real quick. Make sure it's nice and clean. Okay, let's reload this just a little bit. That's slightly thinned down paint.
Right.
And what are you doing? Okay. Okay, let's go nice and smooth. There you go. Right back around. There you go. Now to rotate the brush. So you get this edge. And that's. Oh, we'll smooth it out after. Okay, laying into that. There you go. Paint is a little different. So I give yourself a batch about this big to sign. Alright? Where are you going? Like this big. There you go, like there. Make it big. Make it big. Like you did that one. Here we go. Let's get you some more paint.
A lot more paint.
Stop laughing! Finish your homework! You're laughing too much!